All right, guess who's back? Back again. This time we are in Pittsburgh for the Pittsburgh Pro Amateur Show. It's actually my first time ever coming here. So Friday night we got the pros, Pro Bikini. There's a bunch of pro stuff. I think we're only gonna watch the bikini. What do you think?
Yeah, bikini.
And then tomorrow we've got the amateur show, but they're running it in a cool format. I don't think bikini was on till 1. I think they're done by 4. And you got wellness?
Wellness.
Yeah, so Steven's got 2 clients. I think I have 3 amateur and 1 pro, so not a huge group, but an awesome group. Got some footage. We just got done training in the gym. Now we're actually walking to Rachael's house. Rachael lives right here in the heart of Pittsburgh. She's in the Burgh, and the weather decided to be nice. It was been rainy the whole time we were here, so I haven't been filming much, but bring you guys along for another show weekend vlog with Coach Paul
And Coach Steve.
All right, guys, welcome to the one day out from the Pittsburgh Pro and Amateur Championships in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, obviously. So that was Rachael Saeler. This is Lauren Saindon. So this show historically has a pretty good pedigree. Not only do you have the pro show, but you have the top pro judges. The IFBB is based in Pittsburgh. For those that don't know, it's the home of Jim Mannion, JM Mannion, Tyler Mannion, who run the IFBB and the NPC, and then you've got just a bunch of the head judges, so you know you're going to get a great turnout. Here's AnnMarie. You guys are familiar with her by now. She was my only pro at this show. But my point being is the reason you come to this show is to get really good feedback, and you know you're going to get a stacked lineup of amateur competitors as well as pros. So yeah, it's just a good show. I have never actually been here myself. I've been to Pittsburgh many times because they have a lot of the bigger shows, North Americans, Masters, Nationals. So I was very familiar with the city, but what was cool was Rachael lived right down the street from this gym. So we actually hung out a lot in Pittsburgh. And here's AnnMarie, one day out, going through her posing routine. They did the pros on Friday night. AnnMarie hit the stage at 8 p.m. So one thing we really had to do was make sure she stayed full. As a competitor, staying full can be difficult because you have to continue to eat and drink all day, which kind of goes against the thinking of a competitor. When you wake up and you look really good because you're tight, you've digested all night, you know, some people want to, you know, focus on keeping that going. But I've learned that you really will flatten out and look really terrible by the end of the day if you do not continue to eat and drink. And this was Rachael Saeler. Rachael decided to do this show at the last minute. We were still 5 weeks out from her first show, but she was so good and lived so close, we thought, hey, why not? This is Lauren Saindon, who last hit the stage at 2019 Nationals. In 2019, she won 2 overall titles and then went to Nationals. I think she got 11th or 12th, which, you know, we were on the cusp of a pro card that year. But then the season ended. We took entire year off last year, and she looks phenomenal. So we were very excited about this.
Easy. I love you.
So we've got, look at the cover-ups are looking fresh.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to give you all the scratchiness of the back.
Who are you stalking? Kathy Seitz?
She just popped up.
Kathy Seitz, who's not at this show because she already won an overall, you know? These are problems I have as a coach. Was us hanging out at Rachael's house before we went to prejudging, and this is the venue, Soldiers and Sailors Memorial. It's right on the campus of the University of Pittsburgh, right in downtown. I think they call the area like Oakland. Very cool, very cool. I did only get footage outside for a moment because the weather was crazy. 1 minute it would be beautiful like this, the next minute it would be blowing 30 miles an hour and windy and cold and raining. So yeah, the weather in Pittsburgh was not cooperative, but it was nice at moments. It was very nice on Saturday when the show ended, which was cool. And this is AnnMarie. We found a place with some decent lighting. She was having trouble filling out. She was very flat when she arrived. You know, the thing with AnnMarie is we've gotten her carbs up to where she's basically maintaining on 300 carbs, which means, you know, we need to be eating well over 300 carbs to get full and stay full. And this was 8 p.m. at night, and we actually went out and threw in a Chipotle bowl. Now, the reason I do that is because it's high sodium. It's very predictable. So we've been testing that out in other cities, and I was very happy with how her physique had turned out. And so here you have the pro lineup. Now, don't adjust your eyes. The pros look amazing. Now, the lighting at this show, you know, from never actually being here before, I always looked at the pictures. And in the pictures, the girls always look terrible. I don't know what it is about the pictures from this show, but they always, the way the lighting is, the way the cameraman set up, I don't know. They always just look like they're very soft. But when I was here in person, I thought, wow, the lighting is not bad. When you're there in person, the girls looked pretty hard. Now, the lighting was very far away, and I asked the promoter why the lights were set up the way they were. He said it was like a union building, so they couldn't bring in their own lights. So the lighting was like from very far away, like the balcony behind the stage and then on the sides. But in person, I feel like the judging was very good. Like you could see the crispness. It didn't come across in the stage pictures. So yeah, I felt the video came out pretty good. So here comes AnnMarie. The first thing you saw there was the group comparisons. As pros usually do, they come out in groups of 7 or 8. The judges just look them over, get an idea who looks like what. I think that's when they make the most of their decisions on who's going to be in call-outs. And then this is the individuals where they probably just confirm it. So as you can see there, AnnMarie looks a little bit soft. I promise you she wasn't soft. If you go back and look at like the Salt Lake video or the Clash video, her glutes are very sharp and tight. And you see her walking there, you can even see glute striations. That's not something you see when someone's soft. But the way the lighting is, it almost kind of softens them up a little bit, which is not a terrible thing. This is the bikini division. And again, the judges are so close, it's not as impactful for the judges as it is for like the pictures that you see on the internet. I don't think girls will post a lot of pictures from this show for that reason. But the first call out was very, very competitive. Ashley Kaltwasser actually wins this show, as she wins a lot of shows. She won the Salt Lake show. And this was second call-outs. And again, you know, after Salt Lake, where AnnMarie kind of dropped, she was 7th at Clash, and then she went back to 12th at Salt Lake. So we were just, okay, where are we going to fit in here at another big show? She moved back up, and they only called out 5 in the first call-out. So this was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we knew that she was going to be somewhere in that, 6 through 10. And this was a huge win. This was moving back up into that top group, and it sets us up for another great weekend. Right next to her right, is Marissa Bill. She looks fantastic. So there's a lot of great competitors. The pros are just flawless. Like you're really picking apart minor things. The one thing that I think that stands out for AnnMarie is her structure. Her waist is very tiny, shoulders very wide, glutes very full. All these girls are gorgeous, and they all know how to do their tan, their hair, their makeup. There are very little variations in the pros. So we were very thrilled to see that AnnMarie got moved back up into that, 6 through 9 position right here. I think she's splitting center. She actually gets moved out of the split center position in just a moment. So this young lady that's moving in here, let's see, that's the girl that they switch her with. Yeah, she looks really good. Again, as a coach, I try to take off the coach's goggles, but it's very, very tough when it's your client that you see every single day, that you've been working with for years, and then you stand them next to a complete stranger. Listen, psychology matters, and it matters for the judges too. The girls that they see more frequently, psychology, it has an impact on what you're looking at. Anyone that goes to a show that has a friend competing in the show, you notice your friend more than others. And these judges go to all the shows. They see all these girls, especially the pros. There's only a few judges that judge pro shows, like 4 head judges. So they're very familiar with these girls. So they see the changes from week to week, month to month, year to year. So this is right when they moved AnnMarie back out. So AnnMarie actually ended up in 8th, I believe, at this show. I'll have to look. But we were very happy because the goal here was, at such a prestigious show, to get back into that top 10. We did that. Now we are set up for another great show, which I'm getting ready to drive to right at this moment. When I load this video, I'm driving to Orlando for the NPC IFBB Girl Power. And she's going to be competing there as a pro. I have 2 other pros, a couple amateurs. It's in Orlando, Florida, the same venue as the Clash. So yeah, the pro season is not over for AnnMarie, and actually she's looking phenomenal right now. So I'm excited to see her on that stage tomorrow. And then, so then we're going to fast forward. So that was Friday night. We got done with that around 10 p.m., went out, had some tacos. I shut the camera off. This is Lauren Saindon on Saturday morning, prejudging for bikini. Now she rushes herself here. Watch her pose. Never settles. Never settles. What I mean by settle is what I really try to focus on with my competitors. She stumbles there, back pose. I really try to get them to hold their pose for 3 to 5 seconds and look at every judge. She never even holds her pose for 1 second. And what's funny is when I went to look at her pictures from the show, she didn't have hardly any pictures of her hitting a pose. The good news is her physique is so damn good, they moved her right to the center of the class. So that is her in the center, left of center. Right of center is actually Steven's client, Paloma. Now, she's a vegan. Her Instagram name is Vegan Paloma. That's how I know that. But there's a couple vegans in the show. My other client, Sara Ginolfi, is also a vegan. So it's always cool when me and Steven have the girls in the 1 and 2 position when they're splitting center. I felt based on, Lauren's shape, structure, all that stuff, conditioning was a little bit better for her. She would win. But, it's always nerve-wracking when you have a girl that's as pretty as Paloma with great shape, great conditioning. So, but this is Sara Ginolfi, also a vegan. And Sara came in. She usually is in the tall class. She got knocked down one class. And it was a strange height class because while this show had some classes with like 15, 20 girls, this class only had 3. So the young lady that got moved to the middle here wins, and Sara ended up getting second place. So we're going to work a little bit, I think, on her conditioning before her next show, and then possibly be doing nationals. So yeah, so she's got the great shape, a great look, great balance overall. We're just going to bring her conditioning in a little bit more before we hit the stage again. And then this one was a bit strange for me because Rachael competed with me in 2019. She won the Iron Bay overall title. She went to her first ever national show and was in first call-outs, and I believe she got 6th or 7th. I don't remember. She was in Class H at NPC Nationals, the class that AnnMarie actually turned pro in. And our target show was 5 weeks from now. And a couple weeks out from this show, she's like, Coach, I live in Pittsburgh. I can literally walk to the show if I want to. Can we do it? And I said, well, my problem with doing a show when you've already been in first call-outs at nationals, when you're not at your best, is if you don't really win the overall, it's kind of a step back. And she said, no, but my friends and family can come. And I said, all right, well, we'll make a really aggressive push. We got really aggressive for a couple weeks. Her conditioning came down, but she was still, I want to say 10, 12 pounds over her stage weight from her nationals show. Well, turns out it didn't matter because Rachael has obviously put on a ton of muscle. This is her group, Class H, one of the larger classes in the show, and everyone was looking really phenomenal. Well, what do? They literally just look at Rachael, look at all the girls, and then they move her to the dead center. So I was like, wow, I guess it wasn't such a terrible idea to bring you to a big prestigious show like this. Now, we are preparing for another show before we go back to nationals. Now you're looking at the head judges. So that's Tyler on the right, Steve Weinberger with the shaved head, and Sandy with the microphone. Sandy is the head judge. On the left of Sandy, I think you had Bill Sibilia. But basically, all these judges are your top pro judges. So you're getting these girls that are amateurs in front of the top judges at all the national shows and all the pro shows. And this is something that's very important to do. And it's also very important to stick around after the show. If you want to be a pro competitor, a good coach, stick around after the show. Yes, it's exciting to go out and get food, but what's more exciting is to be there. Do your job. Finish the day. It's not just about getting on stage and getting off. The goal of these shows is to make the next step and move forward. The goal for Rachael here is, okay, we're getting our feedback. We're going to do another show. We're going to go to nationals. We're going to turn pro. Then when we turn pro, we're going to compete. So it's all about taking that feedback and coming back better and better. Now, Rachael ended up getting moved out of the middle, which I wasn't surprised because there was 2 girls in this class that I thought, wow, their conditioning is really good. But they clearly responded very much to Rachael. But she ended up taking home 3rd. Now, the reason I'm putting this in is because you'll see Lauren is just much more relaxed. She was so nervous at the morning show. It had been a while since she was on stage. She came out. She was having fun. She was bubbly. And I just wanted to show that. And then this is the placings. So there is Paloma and Lauren, the last 2 left on stage for Class A. And in second place, they announce Paloma, which means Lauren is the class winner, and she will be going to the overall to battle it out with the other 6 class winners. But this is just a cool coaching moment. Me and Steven sitting side by side, and we have our clients in first and second place. And Paloma's not done either. Paloma is a dangerous competitor. She's going to be coming back to the national stage, a little more experience, a little more condition. And she's got that big Brazilian hair, so she's going to be dangerous. And here's the girls having fun on stage. And this is Class A, which is, I think, up to 5'1". So these girls are tiny. And then you have the winners from Class G. Maybe to see, no, this was E because there's only 6 classes, so we have E. So that Sara got second in Class E, so didn't get her into the overall. But we know what we need to work on. We know we need to come in just a little bit tighter. And then Class H, as I said, even though Rachael held center most of prejudging, at the end they did move the 2 girls in that you see here. The girl in the green won, and I thought she was the winner. I thought, you know, her conditioning was very good. Her shape was fantastic. And honestly, when we get Rachael to that condition, it's game over. She's going to be winning some of these shows and pretty soon here. So, but it was pretty cool. Now here's the sad part. The tickets sold out. Rachael did this show mostly because she wanted her friends and family to be able to come. Well, they came to the show, and because of COVID restrictions, they weren't open fully. Now, I had gotten my tickets the day before, so no problem. But yeah, I just felt bad for Rachael. So here we go with the overall. This is always fun. You've got the top 6 girls. And again, they're judging this like a pro show. So good news, they move Lauren closer to the center. You know, you want to end up one of those 2 center positions in the overall. That's generally going to be your overall winner. So they turn to the back, and let's see what we notice. Yeah, so the girl in the purple actually wins the overall. Her name is Alex. If you see, her back width looks very good. Glute fullness looks very good. The tall girl in the green, I apologize for not knowing your name if you're watching my video. Color, fantastic. Shape, fantastic. Conditioning was very good. You know, it's an overall at the NPC Pittsburgh Championships. You would expect the girl that wins this is going to turn pro this year. In fact, you might expect every girl that wins their class at this show to turn pro this year. That's how good it is. So this is how it ended. So Alex, congratulations in the purple. Lauren, we got some feedback from Sandy right away, and we're coming back to the national stage. Actually, just sent her peak week plan, and we're on our way. So yeah, it's always fun to be at these shows and experience this with these athletes. Always a blast. First time in Pittsburgh, definitely won't be my last. Hopefully we get some better weather next time. I thought this was cool. This was Paloma's family. They made these signs for her, and Coach Steven has an awesome client in that one. And we had some other girls at the show too. Kate had a client there, and it was just a good weekend. Here was some fun. We were just taking some pictures. All right, guys, I'm getting on the road, headed to Girl Power. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend.